The economy is soon to be inherited by Muhammadu Buhari, who was elected this week as Nigeria's president, is in a bad state. It is Africa's biggest, with huge reserves of hydrocarbons, an attractive market of 170 million people, and a fast-growing services sector. But its continued dependence on oil is a big problem. The resources still account for 95% of foreign earnings and two-thirds of government revenue. That aside, Buhari's victory was great news for the economy. Now, as Nigeria's main stock index surged almost 3% to an 18-week high on Thursday, with investors snapping up shares after a peaceful president election, today the currency, the Naira, firmed more than 2% on the parallel market as individuals sold dollars. In an acceptance speech, General Buhari set himself two main tasks, that is, fighting Boko Haram and what he terms the evil of corruption. Now, let's discuss the implication of Buhari's victory on the Nigerian economy. We are joined in the studio by Dr. Peter Karungu, who is an economist and consultant at Wits University. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Colin, and good afternoon to the listeners.
What does this victory for Mr. Buhari mean? I mean, many people were thinking that Goodluck Jonathan would be voted back into office, but he came in as an underdog.
I think you spot on. It was a bit of a surprise. That being said, it has also been one of the testimony that Africa has changed, because when Jonathan lost, he said, I quote, "Nobody should fight because no man is worthy another man's blood." To me, that testifies to one of the best scenarios in Africa, whereby we can see change of government from point A to point B peacefully and with not a single element of bloodshed.
So now what would the new incumbent bring into the economics of Nigeria? I mean, we know that last year they took over as the #1 African economy in Africa, and he came in and he said that he's going to turn things around. But then we were having load shedding, or shall I say power cuts in Nigeria before he came there, and he used that as a tool in his campaign to say he is going to ensure that there's continued electricity supply.
Truth be told, the new elected president is inheriting, in my view, one of the most delicate, almost impossible economic scenario. One, they are very dependent on petroleum as their main source of GDP income, so to speak. Two, he's facing enormous task of inequality across all the corners of Nigeria. Three, he's also faced by this unbelievable a terroristic group from the north, the Boko Haram. And finally, of course, he's facing the most corrupted system within the African continent. What does that mean in economics? One, he has less of income or revenue, unlike his predecessor. Two, he has to be able to clean the corruption that is so endemic, and the expectation of the people at the grassroots level is so massive, because the promises he gave, one, as an economist wonders, under the economic scenario we know, whereby the Naira is almost close to 180 per dollar. We know that, of course, the petrol prices from $110 per barrel about a year and a half ago to 70 had gone almost to 55. So even at 70, you can argue he lost $30 per barrel by that particular change. And what does that mean to the economy? However, there is a positive scenario. The masses are hoping on him. The masses are so proud, because that's very important. The morale of the people, the patience the people have shown, the demonstration of peacefulness they have demonstrated, and finally, the understanding of his fundamental explanation of economic scenarios could go a long way to change the scenario in the country.
Now, obviously, we would get some economic and social sentiment in Nigeria that at the moment it's not really safe given the insurgency of Boko Haram. Many people were saying that they are not happy with the way international forces have responded to Boko Haram. Nobody is doing public condemnation. Nobody is encouraging action to be taken against this terrorist group. And nothing is being said now about the Bring Back Our Girls campaign. And people continue to die in numbers.
From what we are reading, we have seen that the last 3 months, both the Chadian military, Cameroonian, the Nigerian, and Niger, all of them, that particular element, have come together with African Union to create a force that has given Boko Haram a run for their money. That we are aware of. Whether they are going to be able to completely annihilate this unbearable pain inflicted to Nigerians by Boko Haram, that's another issue. But as an economist, I would only try to attend the issues of economics, because the issue of politics is not in our game. My response is the cost that Boko Haram has created or have cost Nigerian is untold, because you lose what we call investor confidence. You lose morale among the people. You start creating that doubtful element that people should invest even in their own country. And to me, that is the economic damage this Boko Haram has created for Nigerians.
Just very briefly, turning the economy around, as you have alluded to the fact of the drop in the oil price. How then is the country going to move forward given the effects of the international oil price on the downside of the economy? I think, truth be told, the last 10 years, Nigeria, through the past president, or the outgoing president, had attempted a very high level of diversification. We are aware that Nigeria has become now a prominent agricultural product producer. We are aware that they are becoming leading manufacturer in cement. We are aware that through these companies, they are becoming a leading financial globally. They have become a power to reckon with in financial terms. We are aware that they are also moving into manufacturing of vehicles. We are even aware that there is a debate whether some of the plant for manufacturing vehicles by big companies will be located in South Africa or in Nigeria. We are aware that they have created a film industry that has ranked them among number 3 or 4 worldwide. So there are so many positive things that are happening. This ought to have happened a couple of years ago. That notwithstanding, the problem Nigerians have is there is endemic corruption, like many other African countries, but in Nigeria is too much. Let me tell you the cost of corruption, because we are so, as economists, compassionate. How do we address the issue? Corruption, literally, is an illegitimate, illegal way of allocating country resources from the citizenship to private individuals, to private entrepreneurs, to private ownership. And in the process of that, it costs the country untold cost in terms of lower productivity, in terms of literally resources being taken from the rightful hands to the wrong hands, creates envy. It creates what I call robbery to the generations to be. To me, Nigeria needs to stand up to say, can we address this? Because if they could, with all what I said, they are capable of getting the economy back to 7–8% growth rate. Okay, let's see if the president will be able to achieve that. But thank you very much for that insightful analysis on the impact of Buhari's achievement in the presidential elections.
Okay, thank you very much.
We've been speaking there to Dr. Karungu, who is an economist and consultant at Wits University, speaking to us right here on PM News.